Joining me, as he does each and every week, is Sky News Australia's media watchdog columnist, Gerard Henderson. Gerard, thank you so much for joining us. Now, there's been some developments at the ABC and there's been some high-profile movements. Tell me a little bit about Laura Tingle.
Well, Laura Tingle announced the other day that she's stepping down from her role at 7:30 and she's going to become Global Affairs Editor, which is a terrific job because you can travel large parts of the world. She won't be overseas all the time. She'll be overseas a fair bit of the time. Great perks. A big job. But in a sense, I mean, has she earned it? I mean, it was not so long ago that she was counselled by ABC management for calling Australia a racist country. She's on record as having said that the coalition government under Scott Morrison was into ideological bastardry. So if you behave unprofessionally, and she's also on the ABC board, but if you behave unprofessionally like that and you get cancelled, you get a big promotion.
I forgot that she was also on the board.
But also with John Lyons, you see, because he was criticised by a former ABC board member for his reporting on Israel and on his hostility to large parts of the Jewish community in Australia. So what happened? He was then Global Affairs Editor, but they probably wanted to get him away from Israel. So then he went off to Washington as Editor Americas. So the two very senior journalists at the ABC who've been causing management problems have got substantial promotions and great gigs overseas for a large part of the year.
And I just can't help but think there surely has to be somebody that's better qualified than somebody that was reprimanded only 12 months ago.
And there are a lot of young people who give a go to as well. I mean, Laura Tingle's been around for a long time. John Lyons has been around for a long time. The ABC is always banging on about giving young people a go, even in comedy, for example, but they never do. I mean, some of their comedians are sort of heading towards Methuselah's age, you know. I mean, I shouldn't talk, but then I'm not employed by the ABC, you see.
Yeah, I don't think they would be considering us for the role. No. Now, you've got another one for us, Sarah Ferguson, interviewing Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price. Yes. Now, let's have a listen to the grab.
Peter Dutton tonight has lost his seat. With your embrace of Donald Trump, Make Australia Great Again, are you part of the reason for that loss?
Oh, that's a big call, don't you think? I mean, you sling enough mud in an election, it sticks. And we did see a Prime Minister who absolutely misled the Australian people all the way through and was rarely called out for his conduct, and I think that's absolutely deceitful.
But Jacinta, let's just talk about this. Let's just talk about this seriously. At a time when Donald Trump was sending shockwaves around the world,
I'm talking about it seriously.
It's not a smear campaign. I just want you to address it seriously, Jacinta. At the time that Donald Trump was sending shockwaves around the world, disturbing.
So if you don't think that I'm addressing this seriously, I am addressing this deadly seriously.
Now, that is extraordinary.
Yeah. Well, when Michael Sukkar was on, and we discussed it here with Sarah Ferguson, she said to him, when he did one interjection to Claire O'Neill, she said to him, "What would your mother say?" So you wonder, looking at that, the first thing I thought was, what would Sarah Ferguson's late mother say? I mean, what would she say? But so there's one test. I mean, there's a mother test for someone that you don't particularly like Michael Sukkar, and there's another, but it doesn't apply with Jacinta Price.
There's this dogged anger to it as well, and I think you can have a disagreement and have it professionally and be courteous with it. But she's really, no, you answer this. I mean, she is answering, just not in the exact way that Sarah Ferguson wants her to.
And also what she's saying, which is, and Senator Price picked it up, what she's saying is that Senator Price isn't serious. Now, whatever you say about Senator Price, she's certainly serious. But to Sarah Ferguson, because she doesn't agree with her, therefore she can't be serious. So she interrupts her and tells her to get serious. I mean, really.
They're also the editorial assertions. They're observations that Sarah's making. She's not reporting or having a conversation. She is asserting to her. And she's not asserting to her with a hypothetical of someone else's perspective. She stated that she was pro-Donald Trump and then asked her to explain why that had cost the coalition the election.
And there's no evidence that it did. I mean, there are many other factors. But even today on ABC online, they're calling Senator Price a firebrand. Now, that's an opinion, it's not a fact. She has a title, she's a senator, she has a first name and a second name, but they call her a firebrand, you know.
Yeah, well, that's incredibly inappropriate as well. And that is going to hurt the ABC if they don't fix that sort of stuff.
They have to fix it.
That's something that Hugh Marks is going to have to come in there and look at and say that is not a professional way to conduct it. Now, David Marr, calls a younger man rather aged. Should we have a listen to this, Greg?
Yes.
Well, they do tend to be white men and they do tend to be rather aged, but some of them can write terrific rhetoric, Laura, and you mustn't disparage them for that. I mean, there was Alexander Downer condemning the fantasy of changing the weather.
Unpack this one for me, Gerard.
Well, David Marr's 4 years older than Alexander Downer. So there's David Marr, with the support of Laura Tingle, worrying about people who are rather aged on his program. I reckon the average age on that program that night among Laura Tingle, Nikki Sava, David Marr, it was a sort of a left-wing hangout group, and they all agreeing with each other. The average age was 74. We don't actually know Nikki Saba's age because it's apparently a state secret, but but I first met her in Parliament House in January 1976, which will give you some idea. She was a journalist then, so she's not particularly young. So there's David Marr banging on about people of a certain age and suggesting they really should.
In a negative way as well.
In a negative way, and sort of laughing, saying that, talking about climate change in a negative way to Downer, but he didn't sort of notice that he's older than him. So.
Perhaps he's only as old as he feels.
Well, I'm only as old as I feel, and I feel 117, so there you go.
Well, I think we all are. Now, Gerard Henderson, thank you so much.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.